अदर देन दैट मैंने ये किया, मार्केटिंग ज्वाइन किया है, बिकॉज वर्क वो है।
नाइस।
एंड बाकी एक दो का अभी तक आया नहीं है, देखते हैं। आई मोस्टली ज्वाइन सोशल क्लब, जैसा कुछ कोड, वो क्लब्स में भी फिर वो कोड बिजनेस वाला चीजें नहीं चाहिए।
कूल कूल कूल, बढ़िया यार।
तुम्हारा क्या मन है?
यार क्लब का तो अभी तो बहुत टाइम है, हम तो
अच्छा,
इंटर्नशिप के बाद है।
चलो आई थिंक लाइव स्ट्रीम हो गया, नहीं है।
Hi guys, you
आई
all are
मोस्टली
live,
सोशल
okay?
क्लब, जैसा कुछ
वही।
Hello,
कोड
hello.
क्लब्स।
लिंक कहाँ है?
कैन वी गेट द लिंक टू द
Hello
क्लब का
guys.
तो अभी तो बहुत टाइम है, हम तो
Hello,
इंटर्नशिप
I'm
के बाद है।
audible, I hope.
चलो आई थिंक लाइव
या
स्ट्रीम
या
Yeah,
नहीं है।
we are live right now, okay?
आई मोस्टली
I've
सोशल
shared the
क्लब,
link
जैसा
with you.
कुछ
Okay,
कोड
you can
वॉइस इज
start
इकोइंग।
once. You can start once a few people are there.
लिंक कहाँ है?
हाँ, मैं share
कैन
कर
वी
रही हूँ,
गेट द
WhatsApp पे
लिंक
share कर
टू
रही हूँ. Hello guys.
वॉइस एको हो रही है, डबल दो बार आ रही है, मतलब आफ्टर लैग।
Oh, got the link.
Hi Adarsh. Guys, we have a question from Adarsh Sharma.
You can go ahead with that.
Yeah, Nidhi,
You
go
want.
ahead.
Okay, sure. So
लेकिन I was thinking whether we should introduce ourselves first or like shall we start with the
yeah,
question?
we should. I think we should first introduce ourselves.
Yes.
So I'll
So
go first. It's okay. Yeah. So, hi, I am Nidhi, and I have joined XLRI Jamshedpur in their business management program. Prior to this, I was working in the iron mining division of Tata Steel for almost 2 years. I have graduated as a mechanical engineer from BIT Mesra back in 2022, and I am from Jamshedpur itself. So, that's all about it. And yeah, I enjoy reading and swimming in my free time.
Awesome. Shall I go next?
Yeah,
What?
sure.
Sure.
Hi guys, I'm Ronak. Currently, I have joined IIM Bangalore as PGP. And before this, I have worked with Zomato, initially as a product analyst, later on as a software engineer. I graduated from IIT Delhi in 2021, worked for 1.5 years with Zomato. And talking about my profile, if you are interested, so I'm a gem with 998.7 and WorkX 1.5 years. So that was my profile. CAT में I got some 99.9 and currently in I'm Bangalore. And apart from that, if you talk about what I like and what are my hobbies, so I enjoy following cricket as well as I enjoy watching TV series, which specifically fantasy and web series which are thriller. So these are the kind of things I prefer, and recently started with animes also. So Demon Slayer fan, you could say. Okay, guys, that's pretty much about me. Go ahead.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hi guys, this is Rishav, and I am like Nidhi. I am also a mechanical engineer from Jadavpur University in Calcutta, where I was born and brought up in the same city. I like Ronak. I am also a GEM candidate, and my percentile was 99.83 in CAT. Profile was 998. Uh, I joined IIM Ahmedabad this year along with everyone who has joined their fellow schools. And apart from that, like my hobbies, I like to play cricket. I follow politics very religiously and always up for debates. So, in case anyone is interested with that, you can also get in touch with me. Apart from any cat tips.
Guys, just a minute. I forgot to mention about my profile. So I have a 999 profile, and I had 97.8 percentile in CAT and 98.9 percentile in XAT. From CAT, I had converted IIMK and uh, from Blackley. That's all. And from XAT, I'm here. So
Maybe I'll go next.
yeah, sure.
Hi guys, I'm Mayukh. So my profile is 999. I'm a master's in physics from IIM Kolkata. So pretty much all of my education has been in Kolkata. I'm also from Kolkata. So I prepared myself when I was pursuing my final year masters only. So some of you who are doing things along with preparing, I can help you with that. And I got I got a percentile of 99.87 in CAT. And yeah, I've joined IIM Calcutta. And so that's pretty much about me. And along with my hobbies, I like to play a lot of sports. I play badminton and cricket mainly. I also like to watch a lot of movies, mainly thrillers.
Just sorry to interrupt. I forgot to mention one thing. So I also have a 3.5 years of work in sales and marketing. Just in case someone was wanting some tips on the 9 to 6 job, I think I'll be good enough to answer that because it was even longer work hours for me, and I prepared along with the job.
Yes, on similar lines, I also have something to add. Most of you are worried about your gap years. Let me tell you that I had a gap year of around 1 year. I left my job in October 2022, and post that, since up to CAT, I did not work. And after CAT, I joined another job for 2 months or so. So if you have any questions related to gap year or something like that, I could answer that. Yeah.
Okay. Should I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah, Abhishek, introduce yourself, and then we
Yeah,
can take up the questions.
sure. So I am Abhishek. I am a non-engineer and I've scored 99.92 in CAT. And obviously, you can see in my background, I have joined FMS Delhi. And yeah, so FMS Delhi was one of my dream schools, the Red Building of Dreams. And I believe I mentioned I belong to Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And I have done my master's in biochemistry. My profile is 998.5, 8.5. And apart from that, yeah, I am I'm a big anime lover. So if you want to join me, Ronak, you can get in contact with me. So
Sure.
that would be it.
Okay, guys. So I would recommend that if you want to know our journey, we could go about telling a bit about how we went about in our journey together with like during the CAT. Or if you want us to answer specific questions that you have, we could go about answering those as well. So whatever suits you best, you can let us know in comments.
Yeah, like anything regarding any particular section also, if someone wants to ask specifically about quants or anything, that those also can be taken up. But if something related to B schools, how life is after B schools, anything you want to ask, we will take it up.
Okay, one majority question that I'm seeing here is that how to balance CAT prep while working. I may not be a very good person to answer this. So, Rishabh, I guess you were working while you.
Yeah, so just
Mayukh
I'll
was.
tell one thing. Ronak, thank you for letting me answer that. So the thing is, see, I personally had a sales and marketing job, which is a time flexible job as well. On some days you have to work even 12 hours, some days it is lower. So the only thing is you have to be focused and be ensured that you are following whatever time schedule you have prepared for yourself, and you have to be honest to yourself. If you have given yourself 2 to 3 hours a week on the weekdays and maybe 5 to 6 hours on the weekends, some days if you get lower on the weekdays, you have to make up for that in the weekends, because at the end of the day you need to be honest to your own preparation. And apart from that, it is better if you can manage some leaves at least 10 days before the CAT exam. That's what something I did, and it personally helped me a lot. So I was working in Pune, but I took a leave of 10 days before the CAT exam and I gave the exam from Calcutta. Your manager has to be somewhat kind for that. In that sense, I was lucky. But if you can manage that, I think that is very good. And apart from that, so work experience also actually adds to your interview points when you are giving the interview. So most of the top B schools like A, B, C, everything has a very good amount of weightage to WorkX, especially when they're giving you the final calls after the interview. So WorkX is definitely a good thing if you can balance it, because it can make up for some percentiles and compensate it at the end of the journey. Uh, Apart from that, a little bit of things you have to compromise, maybe going out on company trips and all that. But yeah, of course, that is towards the end of the last 2 3 months before CAT. So that's pretty much it. If you have any other specific question, like I can take that up.
So we have a question that how many mock series do we need to practice for LRDI sets? So I feel that from July I had started giving regularly one mock per week, and I used to take 2 hours after each mock to analyze that. And LRDI was kind of my weak point. Quant and VARC were my strengths. So I had to put in extra effort with LRDI. So depending upon your strength, I think you can decide on that.
One guy, Shreyan Maulik, has asked that he's a hotel management student. Would it be difficult for me to crack CAT? See, in IIM Ahmedabad, in my class, I have two doctors. Okay, so the batches in all the IIMs are very diverse, and your academic background, honestly, I don't think puts you in any specific disadvantage, at least for the CAT examination, and neither it is so for the interviews. You have to be honest on your preparation part and put more focus on that. That is my personal opinion on this thing. If anyone else wants to add something, you can go ahead.
There is a question, I believe, from Raynox. He says that his profile is 486 and he asked which college should he target. So I think since the profile is a big thing for getting a admission into IIMs, so I think the best college for him would be FMS, because there is very low weightage to academics over here, and compared to all IIMs and XLRI, etc. So this is one of the college. Apart from that, I believe TIS is also something that he can look upon. And yeah, these are few colleges that top tier colleges that he can target apart from IIMs.
Who
Right.
So
wants to take up that
one
question
thing
on
I want to
LRDI?
add for a 486 profile, as he have written, he is a general non-engineer male. So generally the colleges, the eligibility criteria to apply generally remains over
60% होता
50%.
है शायद 60
Over 50% minimum. So I doubt that if he is eligible to apply, if you are eligible to apply for the colleges only. So it's generally 50% or 55% off for all the general candidates. So
Renox,
I
I would recommend that you once check the eligibility criteria of different colleges, and it might differ on for different colleges. So I would recommend once go about checking that, and then you can maybe decide which college you have to target. So that is my take on this. Okay.
Shivani
But
has asked
there
a
is a
question
question.
specifically directed to me. So just covering that. So Shivani, I started my preparation approximately in May end or June. This is July. Yeah, if you put in a very rigorous effort, I don't think it is not that difficult to cover up. It also depends on which B schools you are targeting specifically.
Yeah, Luffy is asking, can I write that in my final year with supply? So here अगर इसमें issue ये है कि if you write that and if you clear it, how would you join? Supply है तो you'll have to clear that ना. So whether you'll be able to clear it in time by June, so that you are able to join in time if you get a call. So then you can obviously write it. But if that is an issue that you might not be able to join on time, then I don't know if you'll be able to write.
yeah, that's the point. So if you don't have a mark sheet given to you by the university, you need to submit a provisional one for the time being. That's saying that you are finishing your degree by this amount of time, and it should be before the joining date. If you can't provide that, then your application won't be accepted, even if you crack the interview. You have to take care of that.
So just one second, guys. I have a question from Mutual Connect. So my percentile in CAT and XAT, my percentile in CAT was 97, and my percentile in XAT was 99, 98.8 exactly.
Cool.
Abhishek, can you take up the question of Aradhya? She has asked a question specifically related to FMS.
Get the question.
What is the WorkX weightage in FMS? That's what she asked.
Okay, I think the WorkX has not much weightage in FMS. Actually, the weightage I believe is given 10% to academics. We have 15% for PI, 5% for extemper in the second round, and we have also a discussion on SOP. And apart from that, the marks for class 12th is 10%, for class 10th is 10%, and CAT weightage is 50%. So that makes up for everything. So the WorkX is not actually counted. So the fresher has actually a good chance to get into FMS.
Adarsh Sharma, you have a very good profile. Like it's a 1099 profile with 24 months WorkX. I think you should just focus on acing the CAT examination. And all IIMs will give weightage to such a good profile.
Yeah,
Every
and another point, if I may add, is
Yeah.
the 5 mark extra is actually given to female candidates. That is free of cost. So you can actually, if you're a female, please feel free to fill the form for FMS because you would be getting free points over here.
One
so
important thing that I wanted to address here, a lot of people are asking their target percentiles based on their profile or target colleges. I would recommend first set a target college, irrespective of your profile, until unless you have some weird thing like four or like supply or something of that sort. If you have a genuine profile, you are eligible, then set a target first. Like you target IIM Ahmedabad, FMS, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, whatever your dream college is, and aim for a percentile as high as 99.9 plus, something like that. Don't
Perfect.
ever aim low, because the moment you set a target for you of 99.5, you are restricting you to a very low, I would say, value, and you are ultimately clipping down your potential, which might go up to a higher value. So I would
Exactly.
recommend, don't do that. Set a high target and give your all to it. Even if you don't achieve it, you would lie somewhere around it if you have given enough dedicated preparation. So I would recommend target as high as possible, dream as high as possible, dream nothing below Ahmedabad FMS or any other college which you are wanting to go. So I
to,
would recommend that to anyone. So don't
So
ask what should be
yeah.
target percentile or
to,
target college.
So actually,
to
adding
one
to what Ronak said, I would like to say that if apart from, yeah, you should not limit yourself, you should not put boundaries. But yes, if you are interested to find out what your profile can fetch, the maximum, the best colleges, so you can actually go to iQuanta. That is, there is a call predictor. So you can actually put your profile over there, and you can see what are the highest percentage or percentile that you would need in CAT. So that is actually what for me it might work for you. So yeah, that is something
So,
in that.
one thing I would like to share that, see, this year I guess, let's say for Calcutta or FMS, since the criteria for the first round selection is pretty much the same. So I guess for general male candidates, 99.7 percentile was around the cutoff. They were not selected up before 9.7. So the thing is, for next year, it supposedly will increase because we are expecting a huge number of participants more. So it might go to 19.8. So you can't possibly say for sure that what would be, you cannot target for a particular college. What you can do is just try to get as much as a percentile in CAT. Set a realistic expectation. So your expectation should be realistic, but it should be like good. You cannot, like, don't set for a random like 98 or 99. Set for more. So the more you set, the closer you will reach, right? And then the shortlist will depend. Maybe the criteria will change. So for
Yeah,
this,
perfectly. Like I absolutely second Moyuk. So just one thing I like to add on the percentile thing. There were 2 lakh candidates in CAT 2021. So a 99.9 percentile actually means your AIR rank is 200 at 99.9 percentile, 99.99 percentile. But when you are going ahead with more candidates, so that AIR is actually going beyond. So with 3 lakh candidates, the same percentile gets you a AIR of 300, but the number of seats in the IIMs have not gone up by 50% suddenly. So it is like when the number of candidates will increase, the similar percentile last year will not fetch you the same call as last year. So you cannot focus
exactly,
solely on the percentile. It has to be on score maximization and ensuring that irrespective of anything, you get your calls.
exactly. So see, I guess this year there was five. I'm talking about general candidates only. 585 people were shortlisted for Ahmedabad. Around
Right.
800, around 7 to 800 people for Bangalore. For around 930 people for Calcutta. So the thing is, it won't increase, right? It, 930 stays 930, but the participants increase by maybe 20-30%. So you understand how the percentile drastically changes. So that's the point. So
And yeah,
again, the
don't be like someone has asked me, may engineer who whether it will be difficult. See, I'll tell you, after everything also, this year's IIM Ahmedabad's batch has 61% engineers. That is the exact number. Okay. So it is not like the system is unfair to anyone. Just that every B school needs to have a certain amount of diversity, both in terms of social and academic purposes. So they follow that across the globe. In foreign B schools also, you have like multiple global representations. So that is one thing. And acha, many people are asking about VARC, LRDI specific tips. So anyone wants to take that up?
Okay. LRDI, I'll take maybe. So for LRDI, I recommend one thing. If you have already joined iContact classes or any material you are following, first thing you should try to develop your basics. So there are certain basic topics that people have curated based on past year papers. For example, arrangements, games and tournaments, dices and cubes and stuff like those, Venn diagram. These are pretty important topics and very base. So you need to cover these at first go. And while covering, make sure when you are solving a particular set, don't jump to solution at any cost. Given it, even if it takes like 1 hour or so solving a set, do give it. But developing that instinct where you crack the set on your own is very important. So initially, I would recommend solve the basic sets on your own, jump to the solution as the last resort, and then cover the basics. Once you are done with the basic sets, I would recommend go to previous year paper. In LRDI, it is must to do all the papers from 2017 to 2023 because these years have seen drastic changes in the LRDI paper. So I would recommend do that. Post that, it is very important to develop your attempt strategy because DILR is not a game of practice. It's more about how you attempt the paper. So I would recommend you give a lot of sectional and mocks. I mean, as many as you can to develop a strategy wherein you develop this skill of set selection. And this set selection is very specific to a specific person. Not everybody does. Guys, please don't spam. I know you're spamming a lot. So we'll answer every question one by one. Don't worry. So what I'm saying is that see, set selection is very important, and the way I do set selection might be very different from the way you do set selection. So there is not a defined way of how to do the set selection, but the usual parameters that people look at: length of the set, if the questions have additional information, or for example, let's say whether you have seen the set before, stuff like those. So you develop your own strategy, which will be developed after you have given n number of mocks. So that you have to do. And then one other important thing is that while attempting LRDI, don't let it play on your ego, that at times you might be stuck on a question. You might take more than 8 minutes and nothing would crack. And by that time, you will feel, you'll take the sunk cost into account and you'll think कि 8 मिनट तो लग ही गए हैं, 10 मिनट और लग जाएंगे, क्या फर्क है, बन तो जाएगा. And वो वहां गलती हो जाती है. You have to leave that set at that point, move to other set, come back if you have time. So one very important tip is this. And these two are important things. And apart from that, I would recommend LRDI में ऊपर नीचे होगा. इनिशियली मुश्किल से शायद एक ही सेट हो, बट डिमोटिवेट मत होना, बिकॉज वो ग्रेजुअली इंप्रूव होते हैं. तो पहले एक ही टारगेट कर रहे हो तो एक ही करो, उसको टाइम धीरे धीरे कम करो. एनालाइज इट वेल कि हाउ यू कुड हैव ऑप्टिमाइज्ड योर अप्रोच, हाउ यू कुड हैव क्रैक द सेट इन अ लोअर टाइम. Then gradually increase the number of sets you're solving. A good level would be to be able to solve at least 2 sets within the time frame. So that should be the whole LRDI strategy
I
according to me.
I I absolutely agree with Ronak in this time, and I want to tell you something that see, we know that XAT has a decision making section, right, in the paper, and CAT doesn't have. But you have to understand, the entire CAT paper is based on decision making. So there will be questions that are tough, purposefully given in quants mainly. So there will be questions that will take you time. That's it, not like tough per se. The question that will take you time. So the thing is, with practice, what counts is your sense that which question is lengthy and which question is not. So you guys have to focus on that too. So you have to move away from
For
the questions.
example, 2021 के LRDI के slot 1 में एक set था javelin throw वाला. तो
Yes.
and if I attempt this set right now, I may not be able to do it. So think of it exam like situation में कैसे ही होगा. तो you have,
Ronak bhai ka situation happened with me in CAT 2022. I couldn't clear the
same
LRDI
मेरे साथ भी
percentile
हुआ
because
था.
of the same thing, where I
हाँ,
focused too much on one set and the time was out.
same मेरे साथ भी हुआ था ये 2022 में.
So someone can take up the VARC and quants because this is a very common set of three questions. We have covered the LRDI part, I guess. So who wants to take up VARC? Maybe I can take up quants later.
I'll take the VARC section. So it was one of my strengths. So for VARC, like I used to read from before, so the passage reading time was less for me from earlier itself. Apart from that, the students can keep the habit of reading at least one passage. Few of the sources that I used to use were Aeon essays and science essays. And apart from that, they can practice the uh, verbal ability questions, I guess maybe 4 to 5 per day. And I think that will suffice for VRC.
Actually, adding to what Nidhi said, VRC was actually my strongest section in CAT. So I started actually reading Eon essays, and believe me, it is the most boring thing, boring articles written ever. So actually, I shifted. I do not have a habit of reading books, so I started reading first fiction novels. So I read 1 or 2 novels. Then thereafter, I shifted to non-fiction, and that's how I developed a practice of reading. So that is something that I did to inculcate my interest in reading. And apart from that, the VA section is very important because there are eight, I believe, 8 questions, and you have to. There is no options, so that makes the question even harder. So that is something that you need to practice every day. And passages are very subjective. It may come from your interest area. If it comes, then you're lucky. And yeah, there are some areas that you do not know, so try to read every area possible. Try to read newspaper, so because it covers lots of area, from political to environment to whatnot. So yeah, these are few things that you need to do apart from what Nidhi said.
Yeah, adding on to that,
Yes.
I had a specific tip which many people might disagree. This was specific to me. I realized VARC में irrespective of the time I give to a particular RC, my accuracy remained constant. For example, what I'm trying to say is that, let's say if a RC is there and I give 15 minutes to it, and in the another paper I give 7 minutes to it, in both the cases accuracy would more or less remain same. This is not the case with LRDI or Quant. So what I mean to say here is that in VARC, try to play an attempt game rather than the accuracy game. So what you have to try to do is to be able to do all the 24 questions by the end. So reach a level where you're able to do all the 24 questions. because I feel and this will only happen if you have practiced enough. So you need to develop that instinct that whenever you see a question, your first instinct will say, even though you will be confused, but in अंदर से एक आवाज आएगी, नहीं यार इसका V सही लग रहा है, and then you have to go with it. वही करना होता है, because ultimately accuracy वो 60-70 maximum जाने वाली है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होता. तो the thing is, go with your first instinct. It might backfire at times, but अगर उसका distribution देखोगे तो more or less फायदा ही होता है. तो आई वुड रिकमेंड दैट. वीए हमेशा पूरा करना. आरसी भले ही एक छोड़ दो अगर कम कर रहे हो अटेम्प्ट, वीए कभी मत छोड़ना, बिकॉज अच्छा चांस होता है वीए में 8 में से 5 सही करने का. तो आई वुड रिकमेंड कि वीए हमेशा पूरा करो, और इनिशियल स्ट्रैटेजी कुछ ऐसी बनाओ, 2 आरसी करो, डू ऑल द वीए, देन अगेन डू 2 आरसी. वाई? क्या होता है कि अटेंशन स्पैन होता है हमारा. इफ आई डू 2 आरसी, देन वी गेट टू मच क्लटर्ड, और फिर तीसरे आरसी में जाकर के कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. अगर बीच में वीए करोगे, ब्रेक हो जाएगा स्पैन, वापस से नया आरसी पढ़ोगे थर्ड टाइम, तो बेटर समझ में आएगा. तो डू दिस एंड ट्राई टू बाय द एंड ट्राई टू ऑप्टिमाइज योर परफॉर्मेंस दैट यू आर एबल टू डू ऑल 24. So that's it.
Perfectly said by Ronak. Just adding a little to it, that this is something I did in my mocks as well. I used to give 15 minutes to VA and do all the 8 questions, as Ronak was saying, because VA mein accuracy ka chances is more. Like towards the end, I could even get 6 out of 8 correct in VA. And in the RCs, I had 25 minutes. So just put it very simple. If you, as Ronak said, कि 8 मिनट देना RC को और 6 मिनट दो, वो रिजल्ट सेम ही आता है. तुम 6 मिनट दोगे एक RC को, तो 4 RC मिला के 24 मिनट लगेगा. और तुम अगर थोड़ा ज्यादा टाइम भी दोगे, 8 मिनट पर आरसी, तो भी तुम बाकी जो 25 मिनट बचा है उसमें से तुम 3 आरसी कर सकते विथ अ गुड एक्यूरेसी. सो दैट इज गुड एनफ फॉर यू टू एस दैट VARC सेक्शन. आई पर्सनली वांटेड टू टेक अप द क्वांट सेक्शन एज वेल. दिस इज डायरेक्टेड टू बोथ इंजीनियर्स एंड नॉन इंजीनियर्स, बिकॉज इंजीनियर्स को भी कभी कभी लगता है कि क्वांट्स तो हमसे हो ही जाएगा, उस पर इतना सोच के क्या है. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट, एवरी पार्ट ऑफ द क्वांट सिलेबस इज टू बी कवर्ड. There are people who think कि मैं जियोमेट्री छोड़ देता हूँ, परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन मुझसे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, because you never know. तुमको शायद अलजेब्रा शायद तुमको बहुत अच्छे से आता था, but then what happens is on the day of the CAT examination, maybe the question from quadratic equation was very tough. In this year's CAT examination, there were some very tough questions from many sections, and the question from permutation combination, which was your weaker section, was very easy. If you had at least learned the basics of that, you would have been able to get that question, because in the examination it's either +3 or -1. You don't get any marks extra for attempting the harder question or not attempting the easier questions. So that is one thing. Cover the syllabus very well. And for VARC, I think what is very important is give full length mocks. Why? Because for quants, sorry, because in quants, the quants paper will be at the end of the CAT examination, which is the last section. Suppose you have to be prepared for that mental situation as well, where after giving 2 sections, you have to go for a fresh attempt into the quant section. That is why VARC is a very, very important section, because it's the first opening section of CAT. If that goes bad, with that mental dilemma that how it has gone, the other 2 sections often get hampered. It has happened with many candidates over the years. So for quants, give full length mocks. Ensure that you are attempting the paper of quants not in a fresh mind, but after giving the VARC and LRDI parts, because that is actually what is going to happen on the day of the examination. If anyone wants to give any further quants tips, you can maybe add.
I think that pretty much covered everything. One attempt strategy for quant that I'd like to share, again specific to me, but you can think of it. So quant, it's very important to select the easier questions. Never ever leave. It is a sin if you have left an easy question. So out of the 22 questions, you may not be able to do all 22, but the idea is there are 10 easy questions, and the idea should be to first attempt those 10 easy questions. So how to do that? What I used to do is that I used to give 1.5 minutes to each question. I used to think that whether I'll be able to do this within 2 minutes. If I said yes, then I would attempt it. If my mind said no, that maybe it will take some other approach, then I would leave it. And even after attempting it, I may not be able to do, which was the case in 2023 paper. Literally, there were continuous 4 questions that I felt I could do. I started doing them and spent 2 minutes and left them and moved ahead. By the 8 minutes were gone, I have not done anything in the paper. And this might happen to you also, but don't worry, because this approach is a good approach. This way you are minimizing your chance of doing a tough question. So that is what I would recommend, because there are tough questions you have to skip for a while. First, do those 10 easy ones by identifying whether you'll be able to do it or not, and then do it or leave it after 2 minutes. And this should be the strategy. And by the time you have completed the 10 questions, you would be around 20-25 minutes down the line. Then you have to go and attempt the ones that you have marked. And the ones you have marked, you think you can do it, but you're exactly, I mean, you know the approach, but you know it would be time heavy. So you have marked them. And the ones you are totally clueless, don't mark them also. Leave them for the end if you have time. So that is what attempt strategy should look like in.
Yeah, and the mind game part, as Ronak correctly said, that he had a situation where after 8 minutes he had not done one question. So don't be very demotivated by that. Just take it in a way that there is 40 minutes for the section. Even if he has not done anything for the first 8 minutes, he has 32 minutes left. And if he is able to do 10 questions, that is approximately a little more than 3 minutes per questions, he scores 30. At 24.31 scaled score, my quants percentile this year was around 98.8. Approximately for 99, someone might have scored around 26 to 27. So if you if you can focus on accuracy, you do 10 questions correctly, your quants will be sorted, at least based on this year's paper. The paper difficulty drastically goes up or down, the things can vary. So focus a bit on accuracy in quants. It is important. That's what I feel, at least.
Correct. One important thing for LRDI and quant. Accuracy is important, but only for the subject objective questions. थीटा में अगर टाइम बच रहा है, इंटेलिजेंट गैस ले सकते हो तो ले लो. मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल LRDI में कई बार दिया होगा कि 4 रेस हो रहे हैं, मतलब रेस में पोजीशन 1 to 5 आ रही है, तो इस बंदे की क्या पोजीशन आएगी, और ये थीटा क्वेश्चन है, तो 1 to 5 ही होगी यार, तो कुछ भी एक 1 2 3 4 5 मार्क कर दो अगर नहीं सॉल्व करा है तो एक इंटेलिजेंट गेस वाली चीज थीटा में यू कैन टेक. इन क्वांट ऑल्सो थोड़ा रफ एस्टिमेट करके यू कैन टेक दिस गेस, बट ओनली इन थीटा. अदरवाइज कहीं पे गेस मत लेना.
Ronak, there is a question directed to me कि 12th में 60% था. So do you have any exact idea कि IIMs में कोई कट ऑफ है क्या कि exactly ये परसेंटेज चाहिए तो नहीं होगा?
एक बार देखना पड़ेगा, बट आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि 60 पे हो जाएगा, बिकॉज
हाँ, that's what I also think.
नहीं, आई थिंक सिर्फ ग्रेजुएशन का लिमिट होता है, 10th और 12th का नहीं होता है. सो
करेक्ट, 10 का शायद नहीं है, मैं वही मुझे भी डाउट था.
रेनॉक्स पूछ रहे हैं कि डज एफएमएस हैव एनी 50% क्राइटेरिया इन क्लास 10th. सो वो नहीं है, ग्रेजुएशन का है 50%, बट 10th और 12th का नहीं है. सो देख लो आप, आपका कितना है ग्रेजुएशन.
Yeah, so there are lots of questions on gap years as well. Let me just give you one live practical thing. In my batch this year, there are almost 6 to 7 people who have 2 to 3 years of gap years, because many of them were UPSC aspirants. Okay, there is one guy in my batch whose age is 31, who has given four UPSC attempts and couldn't crack. So he has come through CAT this year. So I don't take gap year into your mind. Be clear on the preparation part. Ace the CAT examination. These are things you can defend. But yeah, if you have a gap year, when if you have gone through to the interview round, try to defend it that you have tried to do something constructive, learn some new skills during those times, because it shouldn't be that you have sat idle at home. A UPSC preparation, for example, is perfectly justifies that there can be failures in a UPSC preparation. There are some other
answering
gap related issue.
Yeah, continue.
So I was just answering that if you have issues in gap, so see, if you have something to say what you did in your gap year, then it is fine. For example, UPSC prep में I know people जो 2015 graduates हैं, and they are sitting with me in my batch. So you can think कि मतलब अगर if you have justified it your gap year, it's fine. But let's say you are not sure. For example, you have a gap year of 1 year and you don't know what you have done in that. You have prepared majorly for CAT. Then in that case, I would recommend for you to be able to prepare a story wherein you have at least done some course or something meaningful, which defines that what you have done during that time. You can even say that I took a step backward. I wanted to rethink, introspect, and come up to sort my life as into what I want to do in life, and I took some time off to gather my thoughts. You can say this, and this is a perfectly good answer. Just you should be able to come up with something which justifies your gap. So you can say that I was exploring finance, I was exploring product management, I wanted to switch my field, I wanted to see what works best for me, I wanted to get into management, so I was doing a few courses, I was doing CFA and stuff like those, whatever you were doing. So come up with something. You could even get up something like of an internship sort of thing, or you could work in an NGO. but you should be able to justify it with something relevant, which shows that you have not wasted that time. You've done something meaningful over there. If you say that this is a bad impression, if you say I left the job and for 1 year I was just preparing for CAT, because they don't see CAT as an exam which requires 1 year of preparation. They think of it as an aptitude exam which you don't need to prepare for. So this is not a very good answer that I was just preparing for CAT because I was serious for my CAT attempt. It is a good answer, okay answer, but then I would recommend that you back up it with something layer which shows that what you were doing additionally. For example, in my case, I said I worked in my family business and I had a whole story built around it, that how I worked, what I did, and whatever went about it. So that is something which you could do.
Continuing with Ronak, never say in your interview, I had issues with my manager, I couldn't focus on that. Never ever say that in an
Bitching.
interview.
No bitching.
And Nidhi, there are many questions directed at you. Can you just you can maybe take those up? Save percentile for XLRI and lot of other questions.
Yeah, sure, sure. Just take that. So first starting with the XAT preparation, the two sections, there are three sections in XAT, VALR, D, DI and just yeah. So the three sections in XAT are VALR, decision making, and data interpretation and quants. So the first two sections, that is the data interpretation quants, and VA and LR are pretty much covered with the CAT preparation itself. So apart from that, we have to only focus on decision making part for XAT separately. So I'd suggest to go with the CAT preparation initially, so that in that way you'll be prepared for both CAT as well as XAT. And after CAT, you'll have around 1 month time, and you can focus on decision making during that time completely. And apart from that, so for my PI experience, there are two rounds. First is a group discussion round and then a PI round. And in group discussion, they don't give you any specific topic. They give you as a caselet, like it is a small paragraph-based caselets. And based on that, you have to continue the discussion. It may have some ethical dilemmas or real life situations as well. And for the PI, I had it quite a balanced mix of both my work experience, my educational background, my hobbies and interest. So that sums up my preparation journey.
One important thing that I'd like to add, don't
Yeah.
take decision making lightly. Uh, After my CAT, I was like, कि ठीक है यार, देखा जाएगा. I took a course, but I did not prepare, and I went to XAT without preparation, and everything was fine. Decision making had some 40 minutes or 40, some questions, some 20, 30 questions. I could do all the questions in 30 minutes and of decision making, and I was pretty sure whatever decision I have taken is the right decision, and whatever I have done is the best decision that could have been taken in this place. And when the results came, overall I had a 99.3, and decision making I had a 50%. So that is the thing. So
Vanshita, you have asked that does medical issue is considered for. So I hope you are doing well health wise now, and if you had any such issue like that, see, you have to put it in a very straightforward way, and maybe if that issue was something where you were under bed rest, if possible, try to make sure that you put it in a way that you at least try to do something constructive within that time frame as well. But if it was, I don't know what issue was that, but if it was something genuinely very serious where a candidate can't do anything, I don't think that is a problem.
So answering to what Tanya has asked, she said that she's looking for a course from IIM. There is no context which course, but she asked that would it be beneficial for a PI? So for PI, I would like to say that PI is very subjective. It can be anything. Any question can be thrown at you. In my IIM Calcutta interview, they gave me a guesstimate, and I do not know what a guesstimate is. So at that point of time, I went blank, but fortunately I converted. But that is, I want to say that it is very subjective. You do not know what would come in PI, but yes, about the course, you can take the course if you think that you can handle it along with your CAT preparation, CAT and XAT preparation. So yeah, that is something that I would like to say. But about the PI, do not think about it. Just read the newspaper and be thorough about it.
yeah, like
Renox, you have asked a question on which college is best for product management. Even being from IMA, I will hands down say IMB is the best for product management.
यार ऐसा मतलब देयर इज नॉट अ हार्ड कट डिवीजन. फॉर एग्जांपल सबका अपना अपना यूएसपी है. सो आई वुड
हाँ.
से अहमदाबाद इज ओवरऑल ग्रेट. बैंगलोर में स्पेसिफिक अगर बोलूं तो प्रॉडमैन एंड कंसल्टिंग इज बेटर. कैलकटा में फिन गॉड तो है ही. सबका एक्सेलराई एचआरएम तो बेस्ट है. तो सबका अपना अपना अप्स एंड डाउन है. एफएमएस का मार्केटिंग बहुत अच्छा है. तो ऐसे मतलब कुछ ये नहीं कह सकते कोई हार्ड कट है. इवन ऑल ऑफ दीज कॉलेजेस आर मोर और लेस सिमिलर इन टर्म्स ऑफ दिस. अगर प्रॉडमैन स्पेसिफिकली टारगेट कर रहे हो I would recommend अभी you should have experience. If you have experience, so you should somewhat related to tech background. They prefer people who have a technical background. Apart from that, Prodman में I would recommend you could read a few books. So I particularly don't remember the name of the books, but there are a few books you could read, which will give you a basic fair idea of how Prodman works. So a technical background is all they need with a good profile. And WorkX, I mean, they generally prefer people with WorkX. So at Prodman, they generally want people with around 1.5 or above year of WorkX. But it's okay if you're targeting it. I mean, so that is what I would say. और हाँ बैंगलोर का देर इज थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन ब्रॉडबैंड एंड कंसल्टिंग स्पेसिफिकली. बट या दैट्स अबाउट.
Nidhi, can
So
you take up
answering
the question of
Shripada's question. Yeah, tell
sorry,
me.
there is some question related to XLRI versus non-IIMs, baby IIMs and all that.
Okay, so first I'll take the Shripada's question. That is a safe percentile for XLRI BM program for a fresher with 989 profile. I think that keeping your percentile above 98 is safe for Excel, and adding to that, since you're a fresher, uh, yeah, so adding to that, given that you're a fresher, having some internships and projects to talk about in your interview will keep you on the safer side, because that's what I'm seeing here with most of my fresher colleagues here. They are all having some projects, and if you're an engineer, you'll have academic projects, and if you're a non-engineer, again, projects will definitely help for cracking the interviews and driving your PIs.
There is a question from Mohammed Salik. He want to know that how he shall move forward with his preparation to crack in a B school this year. So Salik, you have a very good experience. You are a non-engineer and you have 9 plus in 10th, 12th and bachelor's. So I think the percentile, the approx would be 99.5 plus, because you are a non-engineer plus you have 9 plus in all categories. But that is very subjective. I think you need to score maximum percentile that you can for the next year for the CAT, and then you should decide, because it is very subjective, the composite score that is calculated after the CAT. It can go either way. So please try to score the maximum percentile that you can.
There's a question from Navya. I am from agricultural background. How many questions do I need to attempt to score good? So how many questions you need to attempt to score good is common for everyone. The question is whether are you planning to use this background to continue maybe with the ABM course in Lucknow, or maybe the FABM program in Ahmedabad. Then maybe there will be some differences in the cutoffs. But overall, for everyone to get a good percentile, the kind of scores needed is same, which we already discussed towards the beginning and the sectional wise analysis.
Guys, you are asking your profiles and percentiles. Let me tell you, this is the brutal reality. If I know people who are gem, one of my friends, he did not have a very good ACATS. He had some 7 in 12th and 9, 7 in 8, like that. And he had a 99.92. He did not get a call from Ahmedabad and Bangalore. So don't target something, target 100. मतलब भाई सोचो यार 100 लाओगे तो फिर सभी लोग बुलाएंगे irrespective of what. तो मतलब वो अभी अभी देखो you can't change your past. Whatever has happened. You cannot go back and change that. So take that as the fact and try to improve your future. तो अभी think of in terms of I have to do best in CAT as much as I can. And ये बहुत गलत क्वेश्चन है कि what number of questions I should target. The moment you say this, you are already saying irrespective of पेपर आसान है मुश्किल है मुझे इतने क्वेश्चन करने हैं. यार पेपर आसान है तो लोग उससे डबल क्वेश्चन करके आएंगे. इट वुड नॉट मेक सेंस फॉर यू टू लिमिट योरसेल्फ ऑन दैट नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चन. और पेपर डिफिकल्ट है तो तुमसे भी नहीं होगा और तुम डिप्रेशन में चले जाओगे पेपर में कि यार ये तो मेरे से हुआ. तो डोंट डू दैट. think to maximize your attempt and optimize whatever you could do in the exam. Do your best. Don't never limit yourself.
So there is a question by Medhini, very interesting question. वो पूछ रही है कि is it difficult to get into FMS? So the question is very interesting. I'd like to say that एक साल की मेहनत के बाद मिला है जो भी मिला है हम सबको. So obviously it is one of the top colleges in the country, and it is very difficult to get into FMS or IIM ABC or XLRI. So yes, it is difficult, but is it possible? Yes, it is possible because हमने कर लिया तो आप सभी कर लोगे. बस मेहनत ही चाहिए, डेली डिसिप्लिन, वर्क एथिक, that is all it takes.
Yeah, I absolutely second Abhishek on this. Like, I couldn't convert FMS as of now. At least I am on the wait list. So it's a difficult college to convert, but of course not impossible. Abhishek is proof of that. There
I
is a
got the
question.
offer letter today.
Are nice, congratulations. And there is a question directed to me from Bhumika. Can I get admission in IIM Ahmedabad with zero WorkX? So let me tell you, almost 23 to 25% of the batch anyway doesn't have WorkX in IIM Ahmedabad. So don't take that as something to prevent you from preparing for IMA. Target the best colleges in your which fits your requirements as well. A, B, C, FMS. As Raunak was telling, some are better for Prodman, some for some other domains. If you have any specific other preferences, you can also have. So yeah, WorkX is an advantage in some interviews, but it's definitely not something which will be very discriminatory against you.
Just one thing to add here. देखो कॉलेज में जैसे मैंने बोला each college is famous for a specific domain. Again, the selection criteria is somewhat similar, somewhat like varied across colleges. For example, Ahmedabad values diversity, Bangalore values WorkX, Calcutta values your CAT score, FMS again CAT score, Excel ओवरऑल देखता है आपका जैट का परसेंटाइल उतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है जितना आपका इंटरव्यू इंपॉर्टेंट होता है एक्सेल में. तो ऐसे मतलब सबका अपना अपना क्राइटेरिया होता है वैसे. बट वर्कएक्स हैवी, अगर मैं वर्कएक्स हैवी कोई कॉलेज है तो बैंगलोर है जो बहुत ज्यादा कंसिडर करता है वर्कएक्स को. तो दिस इज अबाउट इट.
Yes,
So
WorkX
there's a
is very.
question. Yeah, please continue.
Nidhi, go ahead. Nidhi, go ahead. No, I was just seconding Raunak.
Yeah, so there's a question whether students should go for XLRI or the baby IIMs. So I will back Excel here
Yeah.
because I had convert from IIM Kozhikode as well, and it was a top Blackie college, but still I came up for Excel. And there are many students here who have given up on even LKI, let go of the baby IIMs just for Excel.
I know
So
friends who are in Excel leaving Lucknow. Yeah, I know friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are people.
Basically,
Uh,
ABC, FMS, and Excel is a different category, and then the other colleges.
ABC FMS उसके बाद L Excel कुछ लोग SP जैन कंफ्यूजन रहता है सबको. तो
I think वो
yeah.
थोड़ा personal preferences पे भी है. I know one person from our batch who has left Ahmedabad for FMS because he was very
हाँ,
like, he was not liking this atmosphere, so
ये
he left.
भी
It's
बहुत
based
होता
on
है. लोग अहमदाबाद छोड़ के बैंगलोर बहुत आते हैं और
Bangalore
ऐसे.
तो आते ही है everywhere. That's what I'm saying. It's more on personal preferences also once you know the culture of the places and everything.
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट.
टॉप कॉलेजेस में आई बिलीव ये सब मैटर नहीं करता, मतलब सब सेम ही है, बस डोमेन के मतलब डिफरेंस है वही, और बाकी
और
ज्यादा.
एट द एंड उतना मैटर वो भी नहीं करेगा, तो
हाँ.
उतना मत सोचो अभी. वो पहले कैट में बहुत बढ़िया कर लो, फिर ऐसा करो कि तुम्हारे पास चॉइस हो कि तुम्हें क्या करना है. ये तो वो होना चाहिए.
So there's a question. I've prepared for GMAT for some times and not a good score. Have you started preparing for CAT this month? Any insights? Ronak, Mayukh, and Rishav, Abhishek, Nidhi. Anybody would like to take this?
I have no like I can't relate CAT with GMAT because I haven't prepared for this. Maybe I'm not the right person to take this question up.
Okay, cool. I'll take this once. So GMAT I haven't prepared, but I have given mocks. One or two mocks I have given. Their official mocks. What I feel is that थोड़ा मतलब you cannot relate GMAT and CAT honestly because major difference है. एक तो पैटर्न में डिफरेंस है because CAT में you have time limit वाला 40 मिनट वाली चीज. अगेन कैट का DLR इज ऑन अ ह्यूज अनदर लेवल. GMAT का जो LRDI का जैसा चीज बनाया है इट इज वेरी मच इजियर देन कैट का LRDI. क्वांट बहुत ज्यादा इजी होता है GMAT का कंपेयर टू द क्वांट दैट यू हैव गॉट इन दिस ईयर इन कैट. और VARC में RC पार्ट आई वुड से चलो ठीक है, वो भी आई फील कि कैट की RC में क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग अपने आप ऐड हो जाता है। तो अगर VARC वाज गुड इन GMAT, देन VARC तुम वहां से टेक ओवर कर सकते हो कैट में भी। बट सेम आई कांट से फॉर LRDI इन क्वांट, बिकॉज क्वांट रिलेटिवली, मतलब ऐसा था कि क्वांट में दोनों मॉक्स में मैंने फुल फुल स्कोर किया था GMAT में। तो द थिंग इज कि ऐसा इतना इजी होता है क्वांट GMAT का। तो डोंट रिलाई ऑन क्वांट का नॉलेज वहां से। और LRDI भी खुद से करना पड़ेगा। तो GMAT का उल्टा लेकिन ट्रू है, अगर कैट अच्छे से कर रहा है तो GMAT अच्छा हो जाएगा, बट GMAT अच्छा हो रहा है दैट डज नॉट मीन कि कैट भी
I
अच्छा हो
think
जाएगा।
Moyuk also wants to add something over
And
here.
also, GMAT is an adaptive exam. So, like, you get a question correct, you'll get a more
Very
difficult question.
important.
You get a question wrong, you get an easier question. And how many questions you're getting wrong consecutively affects your scores. How many questions you're getting wrong in a section affects your scores. It's a complicated thing. So it's pretty very different from CAT. So,
There are two questions I'll take up. One question someone has asked, reserved category matters. For matters which are beyond your hand, I'll tell you not even give your two minds on it. When IIM Ahmedabad was established, there were 61 seats in the college. Now we have 500, 450 odd seats. So while there have been seats gone to reservation, the number of seats for the open category has also been tripled. So don't let those things deter you, because these are things beyond your control. And one more question which I found very interesting was recession affects placement. So which college should I choose for uh, like the question was something like, does recession affect placement? So which college can provide a safety net to that or something like that? So see, when the Lehman Brothers thing happened in 2008 and there was a global recession, the batches at IIM ABC were like, maybe we are doomed. But the alums of those batches have also established themselves now in a good way. It's the brand of these schools which always stays with you across your life. And yeah, of course, if the entire market is going for a bearish run and the companies are into some sort of recession, there can be some effects on campus. Because everyone is part of the global economy, and a B school is just a platform. It is not a destination. So if the destination is affected, the platform will be affected in some way. But yeah, a good B school can provide some cushion to that, maybe to some extent. But that is a very unpredictable
So
thing once again.
adding,
But yeah,
adding,
always the brand will remain with you. That's something you can
adding
trust.
to what Rishabh said, if you are worried about recession, please come to FMS. Please apply in huge numbers. Yeah, the ROI would be more than 100%.
That's a very good marketing of FMS.
So answering
Just
to
okay.
Ramiza asked, he or she, I do not know. He actually want to know the PI experience of all of us. So I would like to start for the colleges. Let's talk about FMS. So FMS interview was very different because all the interview I have attended before of all IIMs, there were maximum of 2 to 3 members of in each panel. So, but in FMS, the panel consisted of 6 to 7 members. It was similar to what you can see in the UPSC mock interviews in on YouTube channel. Yeah, you will be surrounded. You would be asked to give your interview. Tell me about yourself. Then there would be extemper of 1 to 2 minutes extemper. Then there would be I believe a discussion on SOP, statement of purpose. That happens, and in my interview, in my case, the interview was going in the direction of economics. They're asking too many questions on economics, and I am a science graduate, chemistry honors. So I blatantly said that this is not my forte. I do not know much. I know the basics. I prepared for the interview, but I do not know. So be honest. Do not, in an interview, do not just bluff. Tell everything that honestly. Say that I do not know this answer, full stop. That is it. So apart from that, yeah, I believe they ask you what domain you want to get into. Yeah, that is something that you need to prepare. Which domain and why you want to go into domain. Mine is marketing, so I explained it well. So that is my experience. If anyone want to continue from here.
Just Abhishek, I want to take up from you on this, because I have a placement meeting scheduled at 4:45, so I have to leave by 2 3 minutes from
Yes.
now. So I'll just give one interview tip to everyone. In interviews, sometimes intentionally very sensitive questions are directed towards you, and try not to take very harsh stands on that. you never know what is the mindset of the person interviewing you. I'll give just one example from my IMC interview. I was asked a very, very critical question. What is my stand on reservations in India? Okay. This is one of the last questions you will want in the interview because it's a very sensitive topic. So I did one thing. I used one reference that in 1992, there was a judgment by the Supreme Court, Indra Sawhney versus Union of India case, where the Supreme Court capped reservation at 50%, taking into account India's social and economic needs. So try to put these kind of things while answering such sensitive topics. Don't take very harsh personal stands over there. And secondly, as I said, I'll have to leave now because I have a placement committee meeting scheduled up at 4:45. So anyone, if you want to ask any specific questions related to CAT preparation or any specific questions related to IIM Ahmedabad, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram, rishavbanerjee.10. And if anyone wants my WhatsApp number, I'll provide it in the live chat. You can reach out to me for any support. So thank you. I'll be leaving and I'll be putting my number in the live chat, my WhatsApp number. Thank you, everyone. I wish best of luck to Raunak, Abhishek, Mayukh, and Nidhi for your 2 years of journey ahead now. Maybe a little less than 2 now. So best of luck.
All the best to you too.
All the best.
Thanks, man. All the best.
Some of you during the Sangharsh or the other events. So,
Me and Mayukh to also have our exams tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
and Raunak, maybe this year Bangalore will be hosting the Sangharsh.
Lucknow.
Lucknow is hosting.
Anyway, we'll meet some.
But we have the
Nice to meet you, and best of luck to everyone who is watching this stream for their CAT exam 2024. Hope to definitely see some of you as my juniors next year at IIM. I'll take a leave. Guys, you can carry on.
Okay, man.
So Nidhi, when is the C versus XLRI going on? C versus XLRI? It's in winter, right?
Could you repeat?
There is a C versus XLRI sports meet. So I guess it's in winter.
I am not aware of that right
It happens annually, yeah.
Okay.
So, guys, I would like to say something. As Abhishek said, that you should be honest if you don't know something. But along with that, what you should be is modest and humble. Like, don't go barging saying, I don't know, don't ask me this question. Don't do that. Politely say, apologize, and say that it is not your forte, and request him to move to a subject that you have the strength in.
Adding on to that, not bluffing is okay. But let's say if you have some valid argument, even though you're not sure, you could talk about your argument and then you can say that this is what I think, but I may not be very sure about it. For example, I was asked a particular question in my Calcutta interview, which I was not really particularly sure about. For example, they asked me economics the question that why do given goods do not follow the law of demand? Even though I was not sure of the answer, but I thought of it and I gave the correct answer by adding a statement that, sir, I'm not very sure, but I think this might be a valid reason. So it's okay to go about it, coming up with your thoughts. And yeah, again, sensitive topics, try to take a neutral stance, but not very neutral. I mean, even if you are particularly supporting or opinionated about a thing, you should have valid and logical arguments which support your opinion that you have. For example, in my Bangalore interview, I was particularly grilled on this question that Zomato was one of the first companies to start period leave policy. So are you in accordance with this or do you agree with this? And the irony of this question is that this question was asked by a female professor and she was literally grilling me. And I was of the stance that yes, it is a good thing to go about. And I think it should certainly be provided. And why? There were certain reasons that I had in mind. Now, she was grilling me that once that you're talking about equality at one place and at the same time you also want these benefits, how could this be justified and all? So they would do this. They just try to see that the point till you break or change your opinion. Don't do that. Stay humble, but at the same time, stay on your grounds and try to back your opinion with valid arguments.
There is a person willing to know about the marketing at Excel. I'll just take that question. So, first thing, that we have most of the big marketing firms visiting our campus. And adding to that, this is not the right time for you to think about the firms visiting the campuses. You should focus on the preparation right now. Once you clear the exam or once close to your interviews, you can still research and look after that. But right now, please focus on the subjects and focus on your preparation.
So, guys, I'll also take my leave right now. I have a case com coming up. So, best of luck to all my fellow peers and good luck to all of you for the exams.
Okay, man. All the best, Mayukh.
And
I
thank
think I'll
All the
also
best.
leave because I had a class scheduled and
I
I'm
think we should wrap it up just by sharing each all of us PI experiences in short. I think we should
yeah,
wrap it up.
so we could do that. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'll go about it.
Just one thing, yes, you can go into XLRI through GMAT. I'm not sure about the cutoff right now. Please check it.
Yeah, so sharing my PI experience, I'll share the top three experiences that I have. So they are Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Calcutta. Uh, Ahmedabad's PI was most, I would say, wholesome because they asked from all the specific grounds that they could ask. They asked me my hobbies and questions based on cricket. How does spin swing happen and stuff like those. They asked me random questions like, for example, one of the questions they asked me was, do you know anything about Congo crisis? I bet a lot of people would not know. So I was not at all aware, and one blunder I made, I somehow made Congo. I related Congo somehow to the I don't know what, Colombo. And I said, sir, is it something related to Sri Lankan crisis? And they were like, no, 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 you can go. So this might happen, but overall it was a very wholesome interview because they asked me puzzles, they gave me situation-based questions, they asked me about my work ex, why MBA, and stuff like my hobbies and about Paytm and current affairs and everything. So they asked me everything. Now coming to Bangalore, Bangalore interview was the best interview that I had. I mean, out of all the interviews. So Bangalore interview was very WorkX heavy. Since I said Bangalore gives a heavy weightage to WorkX, and that was particularly reflected in their interview also. They asked me all around my WorkX, and there was this one छोटा सा bumpy ride, which was with this period leave policy question. And overall, it was a very smooth interview, particularly about my WorkX. And even the interviewer said that don't give me the generic explanations, give me valid technical explanations. I assume that I know every technicality. So that was like a green signal for me because I enjoyed doing that. So the third interview was Calcutta, and it was the most interesting interview because they started looking at my transcript. They said, I see you have done a course in your first year in linear algebra, and they started asking questions on this. I said, okay, let's do this. Then the second thing they picked up, I see you have also done a course in microeconomics in your second year. Now they started asking question on this. Now in the third, I see you have also done a course in linguistics in your third year. Now they started asking question on this. So basically, I mean, I don't really see the point. None of these three courses are even remotely related to what I do or what I will be doing. So I don't. So interviews are fairly subjective. Do not expect anything or do not like be like, I'm just doing this. Just there are a basic set of things that you need to prepare. Get prepared with those and give your best. And don't worry about interviews right now. Focus on your CAT right now. Interviews के लिए time मिलेगा. You'll do great. And yeah, all the best. Hoping to see a lot of you in ABCs next year. Stone walls await you. Yeah.
So
so
I'll be going with my PI experience next. So I gave interviews of IIM Koikor as well as Excel, both BM and HR, and I converted all of them, the three of them mostly. So IIM Kozhikode interview was very much on the GK side and on the current affairs side. Like we were having upcoming elections, so it was very much based on that, the economy, how we are expecting the markets to perform close to and post elections. It was based on that. And also, since I was a mechanical engineer working in mining, so that was a maybe a different point for everybody. And they all picked me up on the diversity, equity thing. Like, should we employ more women in mines? And what is my take on diversity? So I think that was a common question that I experienced across my interviews. And yeah, so now talking about my Excel interview. So I feel that at Excel, apart from all the subject knowledge and theory based questions, they also try to evaluate on the basis of your morality, ethics. So they were like, they gave me situations, ethical dilemma situations, and I had to pick one. Like none of the options were good. I don't remember the situation right now, though. So yeah, that happened in Excel. And again, they picked me a lot on my work about the mining experiences, and is it okay for women to perform to work in mines? Like not okay. Like should we send more, or considering the adversities of those areas, should we have a hard stop that only men should be working in mining? So these were some of the extreme situations that I was given. And apart from that, yeah, that more or less sums up my interview experiences. All the very best to all of you. Looking forward to seeing some of you here as well. Thank you.
So I'd
So,
if can I take next?
so yeah, means, can I go through? Because I have to leave right now because I have a quiz coming up.
Sure, Mayukh, you can leave
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine.
So basically, I'd say I have very diverse interview, maybe, and honestly, the best interview was from IIT Delhi. I'd say. So I loved it. I loved that atmosphere. I loved it, and Calcutta was also very good. And you know what? Sometimes you just connect with the interviewers. Like in SP Jain, in a group interview, I was talking 15 minutes with the two professors about movies of Kubrick. So this kind of thing happen, and that if it works out positively for you, it's good. Again, it Lucknow, I got really pretty much bad. So then, so basically, I would say that my first, what from SPJ, my first three interviews were setbacks, as you can see. And then I have to leave it back, and then I have to go for my Calcutta interview. So not all interviews will go according to a plan. If you have more than like 5 calls or 6 calls, so be prepared for that. So again, don't take the sunk cost into account. What's gone is gone. Just look forward for the new. And if you see any areas of improvement, just work upon that thing. So that's it from my end. Best of luck to all of you.
Yeah, so about my experience, I think I talked about my FMS and interview experience. And apart from that, I have given the interview for Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Indore, and all the IIMs. So in my Ahmedabad interview, it was pretty chill. They were very friendly. Actually they asked me about my hobbies, few certificates and courses that I had mentioned, and about my family business. Yeah, that are some of the things that they mentioned. And apart from that, in my Calcutta interview was one of the very bad. It went very bad. They gave me a guesstimate, they gave me a case, and they said that you are expected to solve this because you are going to do MBA and all. But I could not solve the case about the guesstimate. I tried to solve it, but I could not solve it fully. But yeah, but I converted Calcutta, but not Ahmedabad in the final interview round. So you cannot say what happens in the interview. It is very subjective. And about Indore was very general awareness specific. They asked me about Israel, the Gaza conflict. They asked me about everything that happened in the newspaper that day. And yeah, these are some of the things that happened in Indore interview. And the FMS interview was unique in all aspects. So they asked me from everything, right from my SOP to behavioral questions. Yeah, that is some of my experience in the PI. So at last, I would like to congratulate everyone in the panel for converting their dream B school, and also like to say that everyone who is watching right now, please concentrate on your studies. Very less time is left for CAT. You need to focus. You need to give mocks, as much mocks you can give, and yeah, keep practicing. Best of luck.
Uh,
So all the best, everyone,
All the best.
and all
all
the
the
best to
best,
you too,
everyone,
guys.
here in the panel as well as the people who have joined.
Yeah.
And yeah, guys, let's stay connected again to the panelists as well and to the people present here. And hoping to see you guys here soon. Yeah.
So
Okay.